One thing I will say before I start this video is in the seminar for the Forge World new products and future products, Tony said that Alan Bly has been really ill for a long time, and he actually passed away yesterday. I'm sure they wouldn't mind me sort of, sharing that with everyone, because if you've ever had any interest in Horus Heresy or collected any models or read anything in any of the black books, you will have undoubtedly read some of Alan Bly's words, and he was an integral part of bringing Horus Heresy and to its success that it is today with all the heresy books. That's really sad news, just to lose someone that sort of creative too soon. Hello and welcome to the third Warhammer video today. It's really hot outside, but thank you for joining me, taking the time to watch this video. Grab yourself an ice cream, ice lolly, and join me as I discuss Warhammer Fest 2017, specifically today, Saturday the 27th of May. So I only went for this Saturday, not the Saturday and the Sunday. And how much you get out of going to one of these events really depends on how much you've already got invested in the hobby. Not in so much as sort of time or money, but sort of what aspects of the hobby you like the most. If, like me, you like the collecting, the buying the models and building them and things like that, then it is still worth going. Because not only do you have a chance of buying the newer models way before they're even out, but you also get a chance to talk to those designers, ask if there are any teething problems, see those models fully built, fully painted, all the rest of it. Gaming wise, most of the hall is dedicated to gaming. They've got all of the vinyl mats with scenery on. Lots of people took their armies and had games there, so there's that aspect too. And they have the tournament and the Blood Bowl. A lot of fun, and if I was going for 2 days, I would invest one full day of gaming, or half a day gaming, and the other day walking around the exhibits and checking things out. But my time there was quite limited. And then the third aspect, which is the painting. Again, I'm not the world's best painter. I can't paint metallic, and I'm also a very slow painter. So the cream of the crop that can paint really fast and to a high quality, they're the guys and girls that obviously will enter into the Golden Demon. I think most of that takes place on the Sunday. Then you've got sort of like a fourth ad hoc part of the hobby, which sort of incorporates licenses in terms of the video games and the free-to-play games and things like that. Things that are sort of to do with the hobby but outside of the hobby, which obviously Games Workshop licenses their universe to. So there was a section for that as well, checking out Dawn of War 3 and all the rest of it. And speaking of which, Forge World have created a Angelus in resin, and he's a lot smaller than the the one in the video game. Well, not a lot smaller, but still. I think it's just incredible that they've built a model for him. And again, that'll be in the video. I'll try and get the video out tomorrow. That'll be in that video at some point. This is blown all over the place. So what I'm going to do is just look at this year's event in a bit of detail. So firstly, I'm from Norfolk, which you definitely can't tell from my accent. So for me to get to Coventry was, 2.5, 3 hours on straightforward, fast roads. Absolutely fine. Pleasure to drive through. Easy event to get to. That Rico Arena, I would really be surprised if they ever change that, because it's such a great venue. It's not too small. It's not too big. It's got just the right amount of seminar rooms and demo pods, and it was really well laid out, and you could see that a lot of time and effort went into setting everything up over the past few weeks, or however long it took the logistic experts. Doors opened, I think, just before 10. I didn't have to queue for very long at all. I thought it was a bit sort of convoluted and unnecessary, the way in which you had to queue for if you're taking part in the tournament, and then there was another queue once you reached the front of the main queue to queue for the seminar. But yet there are people obviously wanted to rush in and buy like a Thunderhawk or a new Leviathan or something like that. So I think that could have been done a bit better, whereby people at that queue could be given, at the front of that queue could already be given sort of seminar bands and things like that. And the seminar rooms and things, a lot of people, when I went and looked at some of the models in Forge World's lounge and things, they looked at some of the models like for instance, the new Sakaran variant with like a Punisher kind of cannon on it, and that's the first time they'd seen it, first time they'd heard about it, and I just knew that seminar would have bits and pieces. It was about the new and upcoming models, so I got myself to see that, but I managed to get a Thunderhawk before that, and it really is a toss-up. Some people obviously weren't able to get to that seminar, but there was plenty of room inside, plenty of room for people to just stand at the back and watch. So I don't think that was, I say, advertised as well as it could have been. And I think people might have missed out because of the sort of fever of getting, an exclusive model for the day, which I don't think they sold out. There are plenty of Thunderhawks and things. So yeah, I feel that could have been improved slightly moving forward. Program, great. They swap your ticket for a ticket in a lanyard, which you can keep, which is great. Tickets were £20. I thought that was quite decent. I think 25 or 30, bit too much, but you've got to remember that includes the parking as well. £20 all day ticket includes your parking, and sometimes at some of these events you have to pay extra for parking, so just bear that in mind. Anyway, so this is the program. So some lovely artwork and things in here. You can meet the heavy metal team. I'll just go over the there you go, the layout. Hopefully you're finding this interesting, and as sort of an addition to all the footage I've shot, which I will release sort of after this. But you had your main area, and it's sort of set out like that. So that was your ground floor. And so you had a corridor there, and you go up those stairs, and then you get to level 1. But your ground floor, you have this huge gaming area. This is all one hall, okay? So you have a huge gaming area, the video games and the licenses and things, a sales area, and then a Forge World sales area right at the back, the north of the venue. Can't really miss it. Plenty of toilets all around, no issues there. Obviously, food and things. There weren't many restaurants, but the food and things was, it's arena or stadium sort of food in terms of it's quite expensive, but what you're going to do. So you got your sales area, which included, t-shirts, mugs. Over to the left, you had the Black Library, so it had all of the Horus Heresy books that I could think of. I was really tempted, but I didn't get anything. Going back to sales area, to all of the 40k stuff, Age of Sigmar, you name it, everything there. They didn't really have a lot of paints or cans of spray. I was a bit sort of annoyed about that. It wasn't like a big hobby area where you can get all your hobby essentials, but I think that could definitely be improved on the next time. And this is what I do. I look at a lot of things and I see how they could be improved. Anyway, Forge World sales area, again, I think that could be improved. There were screens and things of what you could buy, but there weren't really a lot of sort of things sort of set out. There were some of the main things with prices and all the rest of it, but I think that if they had like bigger lists and things laid out, so yeah, I'll have a Contemptor Dreadnought with Kerry's assault cannons, or yeah, I'll have Legion specific armor pads and things like that. They just sort of advertise the bigger sort of models, the newer models, but obviously, as always, staff very helpful. And then still on the ground floor, across the hallway, you had a Warhammer 40k demonstration area. Now, when I got in there, I was told I couldn't take any photos and things, but yet obviously going to level 2, where they had the Citadel designer sort of area and the Golden Demon, you could take as many photos of the new Primaris Space Marines and the Nurgle force as well as possible. So it's really odd that you couldn't take pictures of them there, but you could there, and they looked a lot better in the Citadel designer area, because they were obviously really rush painted. I think that they didn't want you to take pictures of the dice and video of them playing games and things with the new rules, but I think any exposure is sort of free advertising that they don't have to pay for. I mean, you paid them. You paid them £20 to go, and if you take video and pictures and things and then post it on social media, they haven't paid diddly squat. You've paid them the privilege of you advertising for free to them. But anyway, that was pretty cool though. Just to see them in action. I took a load of photos. I could take photos of the the box set itself. Looks pretty decent. £95. Yeah, a lot of money. But you do get the big, thick 288-page rulebook in there, and you compare that to the other sets that they've had before, where they've had the thin paper rules, and then you've had to spend sort of £40 to £50 on 3 books of the rulebook before. I heard a rumour that all the rules are in sort of 8 pages. So there you go. I'll talk about the Forge World Seminar and things in a moment. And what I'll do is any pictures and video that are related to the things I've been talking about in this video, they'll be in a separate video, my sort of video collection, media collection of the day. So then you go up those stairs and you get to the level 1, which was actually my favourite, mainly because the Forge World studio were there. So you got to see all the designers on their pads, designing the artwork and all the rest of it, and also you got to speak to the designers and the artists and the games designers, you name it, speak to all of them there. Simon Egan there, Will Hayes, Darren, just incredible people, and I feel like I've known them for a long time anyway, because I've just been in the hobby for sort of 20-30 years, but still. So that had Forge World, and then across from that had the Seminar Room 1, which had all the the previews of the new releases and things. I'll talk a little bit about that now. They're releasing Imperial Armour books. I think they're going to be hardback for each of the factions. So like Astra Militaris will have the Titans in, and then you've got Adeptus Astartes will obviously have the Space Marine vehicles in and things. So basically what these books have is all of the rules coming across from 8th edition in them, so you can use your Forge World tanks and units and things in 8th edition. So that's what those books are. Horus Heresy is going to continue to use 7th edition rules, and Forge World are actually going to release a Horus Heresy red book sort of with those rules in there, so you can play all of your Horus Heresy games, which is fantastic news, and I'm so pleased that they did that. A lot of people might think, oh well, why aren't they incorporating 8th edition and things? Well, 8th edition or Warhammer 40,000 in general is so much more of a different animal than Horus Heresy. Horus Heresy is Space Marines. It's typically Space Marines v Space Marines with tiny little differences in the chapters to set them apart. 40k is a much wider range of armies and aliens and all the rest of it. So that's one of the reasons, and I really like that they've done that, because it means that all your Horus Heresy books is still valid. You can still use them, absolutely fine. So that's just icing on the cake for me. They teased a lot of models. They showed a resin model of Gabriel Angelus from Dawn of War 3. They showed a CAD design picture of Valdor, the Custodian Guard. Really looking forward to that. They showed some variants of the Sakaran tank. Really like the plasma one, and I really like the sort of Punisher cannon one. Wasn't hugely keen on the Scorpius with the missile launchers. Wasn't hugely keen on that. but they showed Eligio Custodes flyer, not a grav tank, a flyer, and that looked, I don't know, that's a bit of Marmite. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but there you go. And they showed some Legio Custodes Terminators, sort of cataphracti Terminators. They looked amazing, so really looking forward to them. And they showed some other things, but you'll see all of that in my dedicated video. So that was that seminar, and that was that Forge World sort of studio. You go up one more level and you get Seminar Room 2. Sorry, it's not in the light, is it? And also Citadel Designers, and that was well worth a look. Citadel Designers, you can meet the Heavy Metal team, the Army Painters, and the Warhammer World Studio. In that area, you had some dioramas that they're building. They're currently building this one with a Thunderhawk, which looks fantastic so far. Record a load of video and things. That's in that other video on this channel. And there were a lot of Primaris Space Marines painted in different chapters, and there's some great side comparisons, which again I've put in that video. So that was well worth looking. Obviously, in another area there was the Golden Demon miniatures, but I didn't really go in. The only seminar I went to was the Forge World one for the new products. I didn't go in any others, but you could really plan your day out and go to all the seminars and paint tutorials if you wish. I mean, when I was in level 1, there was actually a couple of demo pods running, and the same for level 2. And it didn't really matter if you didn't have bands or anything for it, because you sort of, they're open plan, so you could sort of either earwig or stand near the pods and, you know, gain some useful information. So that was great. So let's have another little look. So that was the layout and what sort of happened and things. So yeah, this just explains, look, Citadel Army Painters, Staff Armies, all the people. Now looking at them, they do look quite familiar, having sort of seen them now and again. There you go, so that's Saturday and that's Sunday. But as you can see, quite a few seminars. So the future products, that was repeated. Then you had a specialist games. Would have liked to have gone to that one. And then there was a Middle Earth one. Then another one was a licensing seminar, Dawn of War 3. I'm not really a big fan of them having the same seminar, even though they're in different rooms. Seminars for the same time, I think that can be a bit of a conflict, unless they're different or unless they're repeated, which that one obviously is, but you'd have to stay till 4 o'clock. I think I left at about 2 o'clock-ish. So there you go. And then Sunday, not really anything happens after 2 o'clock. But unfortunately Dan Abnett wasn't there on the Saturday, he's there on the Sunday. So if you really wanted to meet Dan Abnett. Right, and then what we've got the Sunday 28th Golden Demon. So that's the actual Golden Demon registration at 9 o'clock, early start, and then awards and all the rest of it. So sales area, they had some lovely prints. I think other than the seminar, sort of queuing up and also trying to get the exclusive models as quickly as possible, the biggest sort of elephant in the room, which I sort of realised, you know, a couple of days ago, was 40k 8th edition. That's the elephant in the room, and I think they really did drop the ball. I mean, obviously these things have to be planned and set in stone, and sometimes they don't know when there's going to be enough models and box sets to be completed, and obviously there needs to be enough to have demos of them and things, and to have them painted. But I really do think they dropped the ball with this. If they'd have released this, or the chance to buy this today, rather than you know, next weekend, to pre-order for next weekend, I think it would have been buzzing. I think a lot more people would have gone there, would have experienced the game, would have picked up boxes because they've experienced the game. But as it stands, people that have experienced the game, they're now going to have to wait a week or so, which is perfectly fine, and it gives you a chance to. But I don't think that was needed. I don't think you do need to play the game and, you know, to see what it's about before you buy this. I think they could have done that, and then you could have, you know, bought them. But I totally understand that people could have abused that and bought 2 or 3 of these boxes, or people that they're with bought them for them as well, and then sold them and all the rest of it. So I totally understand that that's subject to abuse, but it would have been great if these box sets were available, because they were practically there. You know, there was one practically there with the sprues and the book, but now we've got to wait another sort of 2 weeks before they're officially released. But it would have been great. The models don't look too bad in person. I've got some video and some photos and things. They don't look too bad. They sort of go well with the Nurgle models, but when you put them next to normal little Space Marines, the little Marines, it doesn't make these guys look silly. It actually makes the older Space Marines look silly. But we'll see. I mean, I've got a lot of old Space Marines, so we'll see how that affects my collection. The Thunderhawk was available to buy. Picked up one of those. The Telemon Dreadnought. I wasn't a huge fan of the shoulders, but I'm a huge fan of the size of that model, and it's Custodes too. Magnus was available, but then again, he came on for pre-order yesterday. But fantastic model, huge. I took a photo and some videos of that exact model. Ixion Hale, Cataphractii Terminator, and Cataphractii Librarian. They were all there. More exclusive. So for Blood Bowl, so he's got some goblins and Grombrindle, and the neoprene pitches, which people were quite excited about too. Hobbit exclusive miniatures. He looked pretty good. The Troll Brute. So, and then 40k, you just had your normal scenery, and that is a letdown. You know, like I said before, it would have been nice to have the new 8th edition here instead of just the scenery that we've seen for the past couple of months. Skirmish box sets. That really nice battle mat, which I suppose you could use for 40k as well. Some books as well, all new books. So Phoenix Lords, you've got Jane Zar, Vaults of Terror, Nagash. So a nice selection there. And again, you've got some nice hardback books. Warlord, great book, excellent cover art. The standard edition, if you don't want to pay sort of £40 or whatever that one is, standard edition for like £18. The front cover's a bit misleading, but I'll talk about that more on my Warlord Titan review coming very soon. Obviously gallery prints, mugs, bags, t-shirts, brass badge, some caps, and so on. So yeah, so that was the sort of look at the program. So in summary, well worth a visit. As I mentioned at the start of this video, even if there's just one aspect of the hobby that you're really keen on, really interested in, definitely worth popping over there, checking everything out, and it's great day out too. So if you went there, what was your favourite aspect, and what do you think could be improved? I implore you now to go over and check out my video of the day's events, and my pictures and things like that. It's probably not up yet, but I will get that up as soon as I possibly can. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.